Got my new pair of rims for the front, ET0s. Got fresh rubber, Nankangs, but they are 100 treadware, so it should be fairly soft and should give me good grip on the front. I was afraid they're not gonna fit properly in the rub, but they seem to clear pretty well. Not a lot of camber at the moment, so I did set it up to maximum negative camber from the factory setup. I think it's enough. I might need the upper control arms with adjustable joints to get more camber. They actually don't look that bad on the car. We'll see how it feels on the road. I have my power steering pump here. I'm gonna take it apart as the cover, and that's a top bit cover. I already removed it a bit, but now I'm gonna try to film it so I don't mess it up when I put it back together. Those are the vanes. That's supposed to be the chamber. The inlets and outlets. Not sure which one is which. But what I'm interested in is this, which is supposed to be the pressure relief valve, and this nice spring. So this is what I could figure out about this pump so far. Inlet, that's your high pressure outlet, and we have this nice plate here. These are supposed to be your inlets. They are connected to this, and they are interconnected there. They're supposed to be your pressure relief valve, which when pressure gets to a certain point, it's gonna push it down and it's gonna release the pressure back into the inlet. Alright. Then you have this nice plate on top. Couple of pins to hold it in place. And that's the pump chamber, it should be somewhat like that. That's the rotor with the vanes. It's the spline. It's gonna be moved by the shaft. The vanes in there, so you have two inlets, which are those on each side. Your pump will force should turn in a clockwise direction when you look at it. So in this case it's gonna be from the back and anti-clockwise direction, so it's gonna push your fluid from the inlet to these spacings here. Here, the other side. And these are actually these gaps which are gonna act as an outlet from the chamber, and everything is gonna, the high pressure is gonna be all around this, inside this bell housing as well, and the fluid actually exits this way. And it's gonna arrive here, the outlet, that's the end hole connected to this, and that's gonna be your pump working. And as I said, pressure relief valve, when the pressure here in this outside of the chamber and inside will reach a certain pressure, that's gonna be pushed down just like that, and that's gonna open the port and release the pressure back up. So all I have to do is to replace the spring for the softer one, so the pressure, the peak pressure in the pump is going to be lower, so assistance to the rack is going to be lower. Hopefully that's going to make my steering feel a bit better. So I had to order a few different springs since they had a minimum order amount. Chose quite a few of them, similar sizes, different stiffnesses, and I selected just a couple of them in the end. That's the original one, which is similar in size, not exactly the same. These are the values they state on the website: 0.89 Newton per millimeter, and that's 0.76 Newton per millimeter. With my rough measurement tool, which is 2 cans of chopped tomatoes, and my caliper, using this simple rig with my cans on top, I measure the weight of these, got the displacement of the spring, and that should give you the stiffness of the spring. And I got quite close to these values. I measured the original one as well with the same method, which came out at around 1.8 Newton per millimeter. So basically this one is close to half of that value. So I think that would be my first choice. I don't want to go too low in pressure either, because it's probably not going to be that effective. All assembled almost. I put the softest of the two options I had. I said, since we're gonna go for a nice feel for the steering, why not go with the lowest pressure? Hopefully it's not gonna be too low. And I actually noticed it on the top plate. These are actually the outlet ports on each side for the high pressure, and I think these are the ports for pressurizing the vanes. You can get pressure in there and pushes the vane outwards so they can glide on this side of the chamber to minimize losses from one small chamber to another. So I'm gonna put a bit of gasket maker just to be safe all around this seal, and I'm gonna put it back together. Since my power steering pump decided to eat into my expansion tank, I replaced the engine mounts. I have these poly bush ones. Major paint to replace them. The old ones were a bit soft, and the engine was moving slightly forward and hitting my expansion tank with the pulley. The radiator wasn't really properly fixed with those flimsy zip ties on the bottom, and it did move slightly, so I replaced the expansion tank. And now, since these new mounts are stiffer, they don't compress that much, the engine is sitting a bit higher, and the crankshaft pulley was quite close to my fan, so I'm gonna have to relocate that slightly to avoid any further issues. I think it did grind on it a bit at some point, and I'm gonna try to fix this radiator better at the bottom so it doesn't move. I'm gonna put the steering pump back on and give it a test. Right, pump is back in, and now I have nice good clearance there. The radiator has been fixed a bit better. Expansion tank again, the gap there, it's not that big. Hopefully it's gonna be enough. It's not that important, and it should hold a bit better. I definitely need to make something better for this mount with a bolt to mount the radiator so it doesn't move that much. Again, after trying to find a cheap solution, I ended up buying this crap off eBay, 12 quid. Wasn't too expensive, so I said what could go wrong. I've seen a few guys on YouTube mounting these, and alright, but as soon as I got it, this wouldn't fit in the actual shifter support there. It needs to have this clip into the groove on the bottom of the support. Wouldn't fit. I had to file quite a lot of this bit, to get it to fit. Can't even focus. It was a big pain. Managed to get it to fit. Put it in the car. And then I had to play a lot with this plate, drill more holes to align it properly, and all sorts of crazy stuff just to make this one fit properly and get all the gears. And after I did all of that, I couldn't get reverse, so I would get all the gears first to fifth, but I couldn't get reverse because it has a long throw to the left, and because the movement is quite limited. Yeah, try to play with that plate to adjust it, but I just couldn't get the fifth properly, so I just ditched it, and yeah, I was just browsing on eBay after some cheap shifters that might work, and I came across over this. This is a 120D M Sport apparently shifter, which from the pictures looked pretty decent. As you can see, the lever from the ball center to this where the actual linkage goes, it's longer on this one than on the stock E46 one. I think it's fairly close to the actual, that's where the stupid ball is, very bulky and stupid. So it's fairly close to that one, so I know with that one it felt pretty good, the gear changes after I installed it, so this should be close to that, so looks promising. It also has this S-bend over here, which should help me a bit with the clearance from the dash, adjust it better, because this one normally in the car is mounted with this pointing forwards, but in my car I had to put it backwards in order to clear the dash when I was going to first, third and fifth, but it would give me a weird fourth gear quite far, and it was a bit weird. So hopefully I'm gonna get this all sorted with this new piece. 15 quid off eBay, pretty good deal I would say. We'll see how that feels. This actually feels decent now. Could even go a bit forward, and I have reverse, which is a good thing. It's not the shortest throw ever, but I'm pretty sure it's better than before. Since the engine is sitting a bit higher now with the poly mount, I had to retrim a bit the bonnet to get it to close, and have to make with a nice slimline oil cap, because this is the highest point of the engine now and it's hitting, so just chopped it, kept the functional bit with the seal and the locking system. It's nice and sturdy, and I kind of hits a bit, but it's much better than with this chunky piece on it. This is the result of my power steering mod. It kind of ended up typical failure of this type of pump LF20. The shaft just snapped after a while. Well, it looks like it's gonna have to be no power steering after all.